Is Salem, Oregon an expensive place to live? We're going to talk about that today. We're just going to have a full little discussion on it. I guess you could say I have a whole handful of some facts and statistics to share with you guys. And then I'm going to share a little bit of my opinion and my experience with that, of course, as well. So if you're new here, welcome. My name's Mariah. I'm a real estate agent here in the beautiful state of Oregon. And as a real estate agent that's always working with buyer clients who are relocating to our area from out of state, sometimes even out of country, from all over, this is something that I know my clients are wondering about. Many of our clients who are relocating to the area don't actually come here until after they close on the home. So that's one reason why I always love posting on this channel. We post on here every week, by the way. So if you haven't already, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss anything. But I just want to give my clients the best feel for what to expect when they're moving here, whether it's a sit-down talking type video about, our town like this, what to expect, or a driving, neighborhood tour video and we're driving through neighborhoods showing the actual landscape. My hope is that this channel gives you the best feel for what to expect when you move here, so there are no surprises. And so if that is you, though, if you are considering relocating to the area, shoot me an email. That's going to be the first step. I would absolutely love to work with you. Or honestly, if you're just buying or selling in general in the area, whether you already live here or not, we would love to work with you. My husband and I are a husband and wife real estate team, and we would love to be your agents if you do not already have one. Okay, so let's just get right into this. The cost of living. Salem's overall cost of living index is currently 104, which is about 4% higher than the U.S. national average, but 9% lower than the Oregon state average. This suggests that while Salem is somewhat more expensive than the national average, it remains more affordable compared to other cities in Oregon. Now, as a lifelong Oregonian, I've lived here my entire life. I'm always surprised, or surprised, is a good word, when I'm reminded that we are one of the highest average cost of living states, especially when it comes to real estate. Now, there's certainly states that are much, much more expensive than we are. There's a good handful of them. But if we're looking at the whole United States, we are definitely up there. There's a lot more states that are more affordable than us, than more expensive, I guess you could say. However, Oregon is so beautiful, and I always say you get what you pay for. There's a reason why it's so expensive here. We just have a beauty to this state that you don't get in so many other places, and I'm always reminded of that as I'm working with these clients who are so excited to move here. And some of them, they're so excited for simple everyday things that we take advantage of as Oregonians. They're excited to go on a hike during the day in the summer because where they live, it's way too hot to do that. Or they're excited to, have the beautiful trees, like the ones I'm looking out of my window right now. There's some amazing mature trees right outside, and finding neighborhoods like this one that I'm in right now that have big mature trees all over is very, very easy to do. So it's easy, I guess, for me to take advantage of these things. But the little things that my relocation buyers are so excited for, there's a reason. My whole point in saying all of this is there's a reason why Oregon's so expensive. You don't get this in Kansas. You know what I mean? You could buy a super cheap house, but you don't get the trees. You don't get this in Missouri. Okay. So you get what you pay for. However, Salem is less expensive than many other towns in Oregon. That is true. I always tell my clients, generally the closer you get to Portland, the further north you go toward Portland from Salem. Portland, by the way, is about an hour north of Salem. The closer you get to Portland, the higher home prices are going to get. There are a good handful of towns on the outskirts of Salem in pretty much every direction that are going to be less expensive than Salem. I'm happy to talk with you if you are considering relocating here. I'm happy to hop on a Zoom call with you and chat about the area and the different towns and what to expect and all of that, because a lot of our clients that reach out to us from YouTube, they don't know where they want to live yet. And that's totally fine. You don't have to know yet. We will help you. We'll help navigate that with you and talk through that with you the best we can. But there are a lot of towns on the outskirts of Salem in pretty much every different direction, you guys, where you can find something a little bit more affordable than Salem. And obviously, the further out from Salem, the city you go, the further out that you go, the lower home prices. So if you're willing to be, like an hour out the country, you could certainly get something for a much lower price than in Salem specifically. And there's also towns on the outskirts of Salem where you can use a USDA loan, meaning you can put no money down when you're buying a house, which is, all things we can talk about on our buyer consultation call, which is the first step when you're working with us. The average home price in Salem is around $400,000, which is higher than the national average, which is $338,000 at the time of filming this, but it is lower than Oregon's average, which is $468,000. What I always say about Salem is it's kind of split up into a few different sides of town. Each side of town is going to have a different average home price. Each side of town is going to have its own grocery stores, shopping, things to do, that type of thing. However, what you can buy as far as real estate goes in South Salem, for example, versus what you can buy in West Salem versus Central Salem versus North Salem, it's going to vary. Not like extremely drastically, but it definitely will vary. So that's another thing to take into consideration when deciding where do I want to live in Salem. Maybe you've decided like, I know Salem is the town I want to be in, but now we're gonna get down to like exactly what side of town in Salem. I think that's something to take into consideration. The average sale price in different sides of town is going to vary. And I've done whole videos explaining the different sides of town in Salem, talking about, what side of town is more expensive, crime rating, school rating, all of that. So you can definitely go find those on my channel. I have an entire playlist actually dedicated to relocating to the area, which you will find that video in there along with everything you need to know about moving to the area. So definitely go find that after you finish today's video. Food and utilities. Grocery costs in Salem are close to the national average with a grocery index of 112. Utilities are relatively affordable with an average monthly cost of $143 for a 915 square foot apartment. Additionally, Oregon does not have sales tax, which can lead to savings on everyday purchases. Yes, I remember growing up, we had, some family from out of state that when they would visit us, they would come at the end of summer right before school started, and they'd always do their like back to school shopping here in Oregon instead of in their state because they're able to save a little bit because we don't have sales tax. So that is a beautiful thing. Transportation costs in Salem are slightly above the national average, with a transportation index being 129. However, healthcare costs here in Salem are below the national average, with an average annual healthcare cost of $5,700. Overall, I really believe Salem is a great place to live because you could enjoy much lower home prices than somewhere like Portland or even Eugene, which is another city about an hour south of Salem. You can enjoy the lower home prices and not having all the traffic. However, you're still extremely centrally located. You're a quick hour drive if you want to go to a bigger city, but you do have everything you need here in Salem. The population right now is, oh gosh, I want to say we're just under 200,000 people. We're getting up there. Maybe we're at like 190,000 or so. We're right around that spot. We do have, like I said, we have a handful of different sides of town and areas that you can live in and decide what is best for you based off of your income, your budget, and just what fits your lifestyle and what you're looking for. And we do have clients relocating to our area from all over who are choosing to live intentionally on each side of town for various different reasons. Some clients find, Northeast Salem appealing because they're commuting to Portland, and that's right off I-5, super easy to commute on that, north side of Salem. Portland's just north of Salem, so it works out for them. There's other clients that, only want West Salem or South or Central even. Like, it just depends on your needs, and it's so specific where you want to land in Salem. And like I said, I'd love to hop on a phone call or a Zoom call with you if you are moving to the area and talk more about that, and just hear more about what it is you're looking for in a home so we can see how we can help. So anyway, thanks for listening today. If you grabbed value from today's video, hit the thumbs up button, and I will be sure to see you guys next time.